everyone. I'm Patricia Lugazani, Executive Advisor for SearchUnify, and welcome to SearchUnify's Customer Pulse, a real talk about our customers' journey. In this series, we sit down with customers for a 15-minute candid discussion about their journey, key decisions, and learnings. In these conversations, we're talking with customers who are transforming their customer communities and support processes by implementing SearchUnify to drive efficiency and elevate their overall customer experience. In this episode, we highlight a customer success story from TechnologyOne and explore how they seamlessly transform their customer support experience. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Roxanne Hoare. Roxanne, can you please introduce yourself and provide a brief company background?
Yeah, thank you so much, Patricia. So I'm the Director of Customer Community at TechnologyOne, and my role has one key focus, which is to elevate the customer experience. And within that role, I have three core functions. The first being major incident management, secondly, technical writing, and third, customer community. So TechnologyOne was founded over 37 years ago and today is one of Australia's largest publicly listed companies. We are headquartered in Brisbane, Australia, with over 1,400 team members globally. Our ERP solutions empower local and global organisations across government, education, health, and the asset-intensive sectors with 19 products and 400 modules built on our CIA platform. Our mission is making life simple for our community. We have over 1,300 organisations across 6 countries that trust us to streamline their operations and drive digital transformation and enhance citizen and stakeholder experiences. And one of our core beliefs is the power of one, which means we take the full responsibility through the development, the implementation, sales, and support of our solutions.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Let's start by discussing your business challenges and what you were facing and your objectives to implement SearchUnify.
Yeah, so with all those customers across all those regions, our support team was located heavily in Brisbane as well as in the UK, and all of our sources for knowledge for our customers and our internal staff were distributed across multiple areas. So we were looking down the barrel of either needing to move all of that knowledge into one repository or find a search capability that was going to put all that information just to reduce that friction or that constant, well, did you look here? Have you looked there? Rhetoric that we were having quite a lot internally as well as with our customers. So we were also acquiring new businesses at that time with new products and needing to bring them into the journey as well. And that's quite a feat. I don't know if anyone else has done that, but it takes a lot of work to actually bring those customers on board seamlessly and bring them into your community. So we really needed to uplift that after-sales experience for customers through self-service and provide a speedier support as well. We also didn't have a way at the time to measure how successful we were with self-service. So we had no case deflection measure at all. We knew that there was some there, but we didn't know what was there, and we didn't know necessarily what our gaps were as well to work on. So that was, the key business challenges.
Yeah, that's amazing because so not only did you have location challenges, but you also had integration and new product challenges as well as disparate systems, right? So bringing that all together, I mean, that's a perfect place to start.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so you chose SearchUnify. Can you tell me a little bit about how you integrated SearchUnify into your support systems to meet these business objectives?
Yeah, so we obviously had the customer community, which our customers accessed and where they raised their cases through to our support team. So we started with putting the search in our community with all of the different sources unified together to enable that search. So and then we went through a little bit of a promotional tool with the customers to encourage them to use the search, as well as changing our case form to being a three-step form. So they start raising their case, and then the second step of that process was they were presented with content to attempt to deflect that case, and then the third step they could complete putting their submission in. On the flip side, for our analysts, our support analysts, we implemented everything we could basically. So we had the agent helper console there that performed similar searches and did the contextual search based on what the customer had logged with the case. We also had the visibility of the customer journey there so that our analysts could see what our customers had already done if they'd already looked at an article and therefore it probably didn't meet the needs of the issue that they were experiencing. Or it could be that they just didn't focus on the right section or a terminology issue. So they were able to see what was happening there. And all of that together was the first part of the embedding of that SearchUnify experience into our processes.
Yeah, I love that you focused first on the customer experience and making sure that looking for things, finding articles, and then also getting transferred over to your support agents are very easy to do. How was that new search experience received by your customers? Did you get any direct feedback?
Yeah, our customers love to give us feedback, which is great because it
Yeah.
means that we have concrete things to work on. So initially they were very happy with the search experience because they were suddenly finding results that they hadn't necessarily found previously. But then the feedback started coming in about were the results relevant? Was there too many results to filter through? And things like that. So, again, great feedback because it meant that we could start to look at how we might fine tune how those results are presented and, get the synonyms right and things like that.
I love that. So listening to your customers and evolving what that process is, that's perfect. And being able to have the ability to do that and hearing directly from your customers is a gift.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
Excellent. Okay. Obviously everybody is talking about AI and obviously the whole process is with AI in it, but I'd really like to hear specifically about what AI processes you put in place to make your efficiency increase for both support and your knowledge teams.
Yeah, so we've probably been a little bit slower to the AI journey, but this last 12 to 18 months, we've really lifted in our AI usage. The first one, or the first few use cases that we used was to help draft knowledge articles. So, you want to you have an idea of what you want to say, you put a prompt in, get it to start, fleshing that out a little bit for you, and then just fixing it for the specifics of the content that we were needing to create. We also did need to move some knowledge from a legacy system to another system. We used AI to help with that migration, so to extract, reformat into the new templates and load into the new system. Our support team have been using it to summarize the cases, produce timelines on cases for when we need to do PIRs and things like that, and to help draft responses or resolution text back on those cases as well. Some of the other things that we've got in uh, proof of concept mode right now is actually not just drafting those articles, but pushing them into the knowledge base as well. So, it's great when they're drafted, but then there's still that manual copy paste into the template. So they're looking at how they can get it into the right place with all the accuracies that are still there. So they've had a few hits and misses. Some key fields weren't filled out, which, leads to some friction from consumability later on. So they're tweaking those as they go.
Right, which
Um,
leads back to the first question we were talking about, that a customer experience. Obviously, if you can get clean data with more relevancy, with articles in there that's closing all the gaps, that solves the issues that your customers were having from the feedback.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have another point there?
Um, just the other one is we've also written prompts to apply our style guide. So to make sure that they are consistent using the language that we've said that we're going to use. We haven't used acronyms where we shouldn't be using acronyms, that sort of thing. So we have this prompt that we run over every article or um, publicly consumable content to ensure that it does meet those style guides, and it just pulls out anything that's not right. And you have to make a decision whether you're going to let it go through like that or if you're going to change it. So that's certainly helps speed up. We don't need to have as much time spent on content reviews because then you're just looking for the actual content as opposed to having to do the style checks as well at the same time.
Right. Obviously, before AI, that took a lot of time with a lot of
Yeah,
personnel to review all of that, making sure everything's correct, and a lot of mistakes can still happen. Right. So that adds a lot
correct.
of efficiency, I'm sure, into your process.
Oh, absolutely. It means we can get content out almost same day as opposed to it being, a week or two because of the time that it takes to do those reviews.
Ah, that's great. I love to hear those
Yeah.
results. Speaking of results, based on your transformation and new business processes, what outcomes have you realized? And also, what metrics do you think are really important for you to track and improve?
Yeah, we saw some really good outcomes. Namely, like at first, the first MPS that we did after we introduced search, we got a lot of good feedback on that search experience. We There was some really particular feedback that we were able to take on and use to tweak the tuning a little bit and make things more relevant and findable for our customers. The other thing was that like I said at the start, we had no ability to measure our case deflection previously, that we just couldn't capture it in any way. And so what we have today is a 76% case deflection rate, which
Amazing.
is, yeah, I'm really proud of that. We want it to be higher, of course, but what we've found with the help of the team at Grazidi is we have a lot of customers that have been using our community for over 14 years. They know how to navigate. So they tend to go to direct pages to find what they're looking for as opposed to using the search. So they still use the search occasionally, but they do navigate. And the team at Grazidi were able to help us capture those direct page views into our case deflection scores as well, which is super helpful. And helps us learn more about our customers as well when you look at their customer journey through the community.
Yeah, and maybe over time they'll trust the search a little bit more as well.
Maybe I think it's this type of person you are as well. Like I tend to be a navigator as well, so I can appreciate that from the teams. But yeah, I can see that they are starting to use search a bit. What we did find with having all the access to the data is how much our customers do spend time searching prior to raising a case. And so when they do get to that case form, we don't see as much deflection happen at that stage because they've already spent hours or days looking through all the content, doing the searches before going to support to raise that issue. So
That's a good
that,
sign. That means they trust your data and your content.
yeah,
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 that's
so
great.
that's good. And they tell us about that in the various surveys that we do as well. The other key metric that we have in support is average case age. And in when we implemented back in 2020, our case age is well over 200 days. And that's for all priorities. We have four priorities. It was over 200 days. Our target is 25 for all priorities. Today, we are just under 75. We have been down lower than that. But different things happen and it creeps back up. So, but that's still a great outcome since having this search and the other tools in place as well. But yeah, we're absolutely still on that transformation journey.
Well, definitely trending in the right direction. It's good to get case aging down, and obviously customers want it,
Oh
submitted and
yes,
closed, right? So yeah, somewhere between that and 200 days, right, is the problem. But now you've got it down
yeah,
to 75, and that's amazing progress.
yeah.
Excellent.
Um, Totally. And then yeah, in for MPS, what I look for is that the score is improving. It's nowhere near where we want it to be, but the gold is really in the comments that they leave. That's where we can find what are the things that we need to focus on to help to improve that experience more for the customers.
Yeah, I really have to hand it to you for going through and really taking action on that customer feedback. I think that's the second time or maybe third time I've heard that in just our discussion. That is really important, especially if you want customers to feel like you're listening to them, to be able to take that feedback and take action on it and show measurable differences. That's great.
Yeah, I also feel like that's how you build connection with your customers as well. So,
Mhm.
being the director of community, that's, it's all about connection for me. So search is great, it helps them get their answers, but I want to see them in there talking to us as well. So we do spend a lot of time talking to our customers, asking them questions. We survey them once a year to try and get a broader outlook at how we're doing. But yeah, we also built after we got search in, we built a little MVP program as well. We call it the One Heroes, and so we've got about 25 globally in there, and they tell us like it is. But the great thing is we can go out, show them early use cases of things we're working on, get that rich feedback, and implement it really well. So
That is really fun. I love that program. It's so cool.
yeah,
Any program that can directly tie you in and take action with your customers and make them feel like they're part of it, that's key. It's really
yeah,
great. Oh, great.
yeah.
So just finally, just kind of wrap it up. I'd love to hear if you have any lessons learned that you'd like to share, based on your journey so far.
Yeah, so the one we learned pretty quickly, we had connected up SharePoint because it did hold a repository of knowledge for one of our products. But when it was in the search, everybody could search, but only the particular people that were for that product had access to that content. So someone would find a result and click on it, and they'd be, brought up with an authentication that they needed to log in, and they didn't have a login, and so they would get quite upset. So that led to a lot of friction and a lot of customers getting cranky that there was sources available that they weren't being given access to. So the lesson we learned there was to really think about what it is that we connect up, and that sometimes there is a need to move your content to other places. Like there was no reason that it needed to be locked down. It just happened to be that that's how they'd built it when they originally did it. The second one that we learned, and this was more on the support analyst side, was change management. So we needed to implement quite quickly, but we didn't, and we focused heavily on the customer side and making sure that our customers knew what was going on and how it was, used and worked and things like that. And we probably didn't spend enough time on the support analyst side. So the adoption was low, and there was even things like some of them didn't know how to use keywords to search. So just even taking them through that sort of training on how to search effectively, and how to use filters and things like that. Um, we also didn't spend enough time looking at the UX for them. Like they ended up with a really squidgy little section. And so we quickly pivoted, and gave them a pop out so that they could put it on another screen and things like that. But yeah, that was um, a little bit of pain after implementation there. And then the final one is, I think we were too slow to really look at the analytics. Like the analytics are quite rich. And we were a little bit slow to start to look into those and see where searches weren't being successful, getting our synonyms in, doing some tuning to make it more effective. So, yeah, I think the results could have been better if we had invested in that sooner.
Great. Well, those are some great lessons learned. I love that.
Mm.
Thank you very much for sharing your story and your valuable insights. This has been a great conversation. So with that, we'll wrap up today's conversation. If you'd like to share your experience with SearchUnify, just reach out to us at info@searchunify.com. Thank you.